Think about it. Graduation should be the start of something. Drinking and driving could be the end of it all. This message brought to you by the Motor Vehicle Branch, Province of British Columbia.
The graduation class of the Penticton Senior Secondary School is celebrating the end of their school years in Penticton. As well as the usual official events, there are the unofficial celebrations which have become a tradition over the years.
Oh, this graduation time in the sunny Okanagan, where the sun and fun never sets, especially on grad activities. Graduation time is a time to remember, a time to look back on, we hope with nothing but joy, no tears allowed. Talking about the great grad times that are coming up here, and we've got the weather for it.
Okay, it feels really good to be graduating because I hate school.
Yes! Keep on.
Me? Okay.
Well, it feels like I'm naked.
12 years is long enough, man. I want to get out.
Graduation. 12 graduation like a piece of 12 cake. 12 years are nothing. You always want 12 more. Years are nothing. I'm coming back next year, man.
No, 12 years are nothing. If you didn't put anything into it, you won't get nothing out of it.
That's right. We're going to get out of it. Yeah, man.
For sure.
Everyone wants to leave Penticton after they graduate.
But it's good to come back.
Everyone wants,
yeah,
but everybody wants to come back.
All the girls leave.
There's nothing to do after you graduate here. No jobs, no future.
The boys find them. It's the girls. All the girls take off.
I remember when our valedictorian spoke, I was in tears. Oh, it was so sad. Just because, you know, you're sitting around all these friends that you've grown up with for like 10, 12 years, and it's the last time you're going to see them.
I didn't want to graduate.
Yeah, because you know that your social life is going to just completely change.
I graduate
It'll be
next
good,
year.
but it'll just be different, you know? Oh yeah, Grad's really
sad.
Heartbreaking time.
Snowed in the city late last night. You lazy bird, why don't you fly? I know you got traveling on your mind. You lazy bird, why don't you fly? It's a lonely feeling, and isn't it a shame? Staring at the ceiling while you're on your back again. Snowed in the city late last night. You lazy bird, why don't you fly?
I'm sure the parents, the school board, and everyone, certainly the staff, keep their fingers crossed until it's over and hope for the best.
Good afternoon. I would like to welcome the mothers and all the girls of the 1974 graduating class at Penticton Secondary. I'm really glad to be a part of this graduation, and I'm pleased to see so many of you have turned out. I'd like to thank a few people who have really helped me a lot to do this. First, Mrs. McLeod has given me a lot of advice on what goes on in teas. So I hope everyone just has a good time. Thank you.
It's more of a coming-of-age ceremony. It's a recognition ceremony. It's not really a graduation. The older people like to participate in them because they have a role to play, and they have reached a time in life which designates a certain ritual almost. The students have reached a point in their education. Many of them have done exceptionally well, but basically they have reached a point in time when they are intellectually and socially going into another world.
Getting together, and we just have a good time. There's cliques in this party that have never gotten together, and now we're together. And now everybody's together, and we're just saying goodbye to each other. Hi and hello. And we're doing it in a good way.
Yeah, when Grad comes along, people just seem to forget their groups.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey.
Yeah.
And in Vancouver, all they had is a weekend. I think one of the reasons why they have it that short is because they're afraid of what's going to happen, what the grads are going to end up doing. That's all it is. It's just a whole lot of fun, and a lot of people get together. And like I never really knew too many people in here, and you sure meet an awful lot of people in Grad.
Oh, they're coming.
Coming right up to the doorways. I gotta go.
Okay, right up the doorway.
Maggie, you're
I feel like we're on the Academy Awards.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the recognition ceremonies of the grade 12 class of Penn High. It's a wonderful evening for these young people, and we're very happy that you're here to enjoy it with them. Now, I'm to be your chairman, and I see my responsibilities as being the tester of the mic. Can you hear us at the back? Seeing that a long program runs quickly, and waking up the people that dare to fall asleep.
Ladies and gentlemen, and members of the class, I wish to assure you that the Department of Education, which I represent, has always been a servant of your school rather than its master. And I think that you can be happy that the people here on the stage and all the people sitting in this really very large hall are here because they're fond of you and wish you well. And I'm very happy to be here with them and convey these same wishes and expressions to you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. And I now call on Helen Kvestich to give her valedictory address.
Good evening, graduates, teachers, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, the time has come for us to say goodbye formally to high school years. When we walk across the stage and accept our diplomas, it will mark the end of a very important time in our lives. 18 years that consisted of school, friends, carefree days, and easy laughter.
Debbie, any questions?
Chekhov tends to write very unrealistically.
I think to a certain extent, but it's a little heavy in this respect. There's no difference here. It's a sweet, sentimental little story dependent upon coincidence and a happy ending. So I'm sorry I have to disagree with you. Right, Peter? We're going to be tested on this later, you know. So you keep your pen handy. Maybe you better move your chair forward a little bit, eh? All right. Okay. Rose is flat, but the doctor and an essay are round. In other words, they change. I'm sorry I disagree.
We've been here for 5 years. It's just getting awful. I don't know.
You gotta get out and start.
Yeah, you gotta get out, yeah.
That's 74!
Good action gives the paper something to do, eh?
The future of the world does rest upon our shoulders. But we do have the many good works being carried on today as a foundation for this future. For the graduating class of 1974, I leave these next thoughts with you. The perfect light of happiness shines from that star which seems to be almost out of reach. That star will always be there, and man will never stop reaching for it. Friends, I wish you all a universe of happiness. And remember, for a free man, all heights are attainable.
Cynthia, what are you going to do after you graduate?
I don't know.
Join the ranks of the enemy.
Drink beer, I guess. Yeah, I want to own my own brewery.
College.
Which college?
Okanagan.
Where's that?
Kelowna.
What are you going to be taking?
Secretarial stuff.
Take the summer off. I am. And then I'm going to go to
Party
university.
time. I'd like to get into social
This is what you
work,
want to
but
do.
wow.
Next question.
Thank you, Helen, and I'm sure that applause speaks for itself. Now we present over $12,000 worth of bursaries and scholarships. The A&W $100 bursary, which has been awarded to Jean Patterson, and Mr. Gao is making the presentation. Naramata Women's Institute bursary of $150. The Squaw Lake Rotary Club, on behalf of the Penticton Dental Association, the Penticton Rotary Club, the Hilliard Bursaries, Penticton Civic Employees Union, the Associated Canadian Travelers $200 bursary, the Penticton Medical Association.
It's not going to be over after tomorrow.
When I think about being in grade 10 and looking up to the grads, it sure feels different, you know. Wow, they're so much older and, you know, worldly sort of thing. And then you look at, I wasn't anything like them.
I still don't
it doesn't
feel like
seem
a
like
grad.
it. It really doesn't. Maybe after the summer it'll all hit us, you know, in September when you don't come back to school.
Yeah.
And now, the outstanding student in the school, Helen Kvestich. We really recognize each member of the grade 12 class by presenting to them scrolls.
Sue Louise Bowman.
You have to go through all that waiting and stuff just to walk across the stage.
Jan Veronica Bolton. Arlene Janet Bombardier. Darlene Iris Bora. Barbara Joan Barry. Karen Lynn Broadway.
Kevin Anderson.
As you walk across the stage, you sit there and you tell yourself, look at the crowd, look at the crowd. Then you say, no, no.
Leighton Barrett. John Berryman. Daniel James Bella. Robert Biagioni.
In closing our program this evening, I want to say that you've been a patient, considerate, understanding, and an appreciative audience. And the graduates thank you for sharing this evening with them. Would you please rise for the Queen?
Penticton is a wonderful city. We have been very, very proud of the young people who have graduated from our senior secondary schools over the years. A number of them have reached professional levels. A great many have gone into the technical fields, other into the trade fields, and regretfully, some have not reached any of the levels.
What's it like to graduate there, young man?
This guy lost his
Well, if you've been here till noon, surely you've had enough to drink by now.
No. I just came down here. Great kind of good, man.
I never have
Well, I drink
that's what it is. 6:30, all the...
If you look around right now, there's no mess whatsoever.
If we
Look at these people have been here since then. There's a lot of sober people or people who haven't been here, up till now.
How about
They will
taking our
clean up the
names?
park
Take
for
a
that,
deposit.
okay? From now
How much did it cost
There's
to
people
clean the
coming all
place
the time to
up?
clean this place up.
If you want to take our names, we'll put down money that this place will be clean tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Okay, everybody's name? Everybody's name, okay?
Joe Green. Vic Vaseline. Put Mike Bob down.
I graduated before, and our parties lasted all night long. We'd break into the school, and we'd piled all the chairs in the hallway. Every desk out every single room. You couldn't even walk, and it took the janitors one, whole morning just to get the chairs back in the room. It's nothing like that. Everybody just goes home, goes to bed, stays at home, watches a movie. I didn't like it at all.
But we haven't had anything wrecked yet, and nobody's gotten hurt really bad, or we've been really lucky like that. And people say, oh, well, what's different about this grad? It isn't as rowdy as last year or something. Well, I don't think you can say we haven't had as much fun. We've probably had as much fun, but we just haven't gone around destroying buildings and stuff.
Our Heavenly Father, this evening there are many people around this world who are just longing even for a bowl of rice. There are babies at this moment who are crying because their mothers have no milk in their breasts. There are mothers who are watching their little ones actually die from starvation. And here we sit tonight with more food than we can use and more than what we need. Father, forgive us if we are ever ungrateful or if we ever complain about our lot in life.
Would Dave Morris please come up and give the toast to the school? Dave?
A most gracious introduction. That was a most gracious introduction. I think the school has done its best with what we've had been prepared to offer in return. As John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country? I suspect the quotation has applied to our school and what we have personally gained from it. It has served us well. Now we must serve ourselves. Now, could you please all rise and join me in a toast to the school? To the school.
Thanks very much, Dave. Now I'd like to call on Mr. Temple for the response. Mr. Temple has ended this year with all of us, and I feel has done a very tremendous job. Mr. Temple?
Toastmistress Meg, head table guests, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor, staff, and you guys and gals. I first thought of this as being a heaven-sent opportunity to, sky's the limit type of thing. And then I began to think, well, this really should be shared by other people in the staff. Now, the math department asked me to direct this one to the boys, that while mathematics may deny it, it is possible for certain well-arranged sets of curves to make a triangle. Counselors to girls. A sensible girl is more sensible than she looks, because a sensible girl is too sensible to look sensible.
All in all, the teachers are what made us finished products. And I would just like to say, too, that we all appreciate you all turning out to the banquet and the ceremonies last night. It just made our night possible. And so now, would the class please rise and drink a toast to the staff? To the staff.
But I was really intrigued when I discovered that Superstar was the theme for your graduation, because it reveals a very great deal about you. It suggests that in spite of the hi-jinks, in spite of all the beer bottles, tops I picked up this afternoon, that you do recognize that there is so much beyond, that there is so much for each one of you. If you look at the midnight sky, it isn't really the superstars that make it so utterly gorgeous and beautiful. It's every single little star that twinkles. And every star that twinkles is full of energy, potential, kinetic. The kinetic energy we see in the classrooms quite frequently. The potential energy hasn't all yet been drawn on. And I would suggest to you that the whole name of the game is to find out how to change potential energy into action. Here's to the grads.
I would like to introduce our class historian of this year. Laura Stewart would please go up onto the stage, where she will be accompanied by Terry Moses to join her, and they will perform for you the way they perform for others at the Christmas.
You okay? Okay. Tell me, what was your favorite class?
Oh, it had to be 0012.
Office Orientation 12. Why was that your favorite?
Miss Davies just treated me like a mother.
Gary, shut up! Gary, sit down! Gary, wait!
I told you, Miss Davies, I would get you.
Then I awake and look around me at those 4 blackboards that surround me. And then I find that I was only dreaming.
I flunked my math and biology. I owe Miss Davies an apology. Again, we'll grad from old Penn High next year.
Pretty tricky, eh?
Ah, pretty good. Down the road we drink from dusk till daybreak, singing songs with splitting headaches. It's good to grad from old Penn High this year.
This is a song that I wrote at guide camp a couple of weeks ago. I was lifeguarding. There's a bird outside my window, and he's singing prettily, and the sun is softly shining through an opening in the trees. And when I'm sitting by the water's edge and humming happily, then I know this is the place for me. doesn't touch your soul, then you can go away, but I'll stay.
And I would like to express my best wishes to all the graduates for this year. I'm losing a lot of close friends, and they know who they are. And I just wish the best for all of you. Thank you.
There's ripples on the water near the boat in which I lie. Don't ever want to leave, no, I won't ever say goodbye. 'Cause when I'm sitting by the water's edge and humming happily, then I know this is the place for me. Then I know this is a place for me.